Hello students, today we are going to understand about principles of group work. So, in this lesson 3, we are going to understand what are the principles of group work and also understand how it is going to help a group worker. Understanding of principle of group work. In social work practice, it is customary to evolve principles of working different units of people such as individual, groups and communities. Principles are essential norms in a system of thought or belief, which form the basis of reasoning in that system. Principles of professional practice, general statements about how to achieve what is intended for the good of the service user. For example, collaboration with colleagues. Principles have much broader scope than rules, tending to apply to all people in all circumstances. Social group work principles are guiding assertions or statements that have come from experience or research. They are generalization based on what has been observed in good practice with group in different situations. Basic principles of working with people in groups to help them grow and change are being to emerge from the practice of social group work. The worker must have more than principles, he must have knowledge of thinking and assumptions that underline the principles. He must know what acceptance of the principle means in terms of his behavior as a professional worker. The group worker benefits the conscious understanding of the basic principles of social group work because this knowledge provides him or her a framework to work with the group. Sometimes the concept and principles are used interchangeably, but there is difference between the two. The concepts are ideas regarding individuals, groups and communities emerged from social and biological sciences as well as from the humanities disciplines. Such concepts are social distance, problem, role, ego, etc. They are basic to all social work methods. A principle is verbalized statements, general rules or laws, fundamental truths by which we proceed from one situation to another. A principle must be understood to mean a hypothesis so adequately tested by observation and experiment that it may be put forward as a guide to action. The objectives of social group work can be fulfilled only within the framework of principles. Therefore, it seems necessary to deal with basic principles which are guiding force for group work practice. The principles are good reflection of common sense understanding of what will work and what will not, described in much uncomplicated manner. The other interesting thing which a review of principles developed by different authors indicates is the similarity in conceptualizing the important areas of focus for a practitioner. Authors like Douglas, Konopka, Cohen, Friedlander, Trecker has given the principles to work with groups. Trecker in his book Social Group Work, Principles and Practice devoted a full chapter to the principles of group work practice. Here we are going to discuss detailedly the principles given by Trecker. First, the principle of planned group formation. Second, principle of specific objectives. Third, principle of purposeful worker relationship. Fourth, the principle of continuous individualization. Fifth, the principle of guided group interaction. Sixth, the principle of democratic group self-determination. 7. The principle of flexible functional organization. 8. The principle of progressive program experiences. 9th, the principle of resource utilization. 10th, the principle of evaluation. Now, we are going to understand in detail the principles of group work. First principle, the principle of planned group formation. In social group work, the group is the basic unit through which service is provided to the individual. Consequently, the agency and workers responsible for the formation of groups or the acceptance into the agency of already formed group must be aware of the factors inherent in the group situation that make the group a positive potential for individual growth and for meeting recognizable needs. Behind this principle is the fact that groups, like individuals, are different. Groups likewise evolving development, ever changing. Central to group work is the fact that groups are tremendously influential upon the behavior of individuals. The influence of the group on the person is not necessarily social or positive. It may be opposite. Consequently, the group in social group work must possess elements of conscious design and plan. It must contain social growth potential for the members in it. The fact that it is a group in a social agency setting with a worker makes it distinctly different from non-agency group. Principle of specific objectives. As we have already planned group formation, for every planned group formation we should have specific objectives in forming that group. In social group work, specific objectives of individual and group development must be consciously formulated by the worker in harmony with group wishes and capacities and keeping with agency function. Here we accept the fact that individual and the group in agency with worker constitutes an inseparable whole. Individual want and get different things from groups. Agencies and their workers must be aware of what people want from group experiences and help them to get it. Different people in different groups at different times get different results from their experiences. What they are likely to get, what is potentially possible for them to get, become concerns of the group worker. Objective thus become a controlling force in the present life of the group. The principle of purposeful worker group relationship. In social group work, a consciously purposeful relationship must be established between the worker and the group members based on the worker's acceptance of the group members as they are and upon the group's willingness to accept help from the worker because of the confidence the members have in him and in the agency. This principle assumes that it is both possible and necessary to create an effective working relationship with a group before the worker can help the group. It supposes that the character of such a relationship be defined and understood. Effective relationships grow out of the mutual acceptance of each other by worker and group. The worker's relationship with group is itself a major tool. The quality and strength of the worker group relationship determine the extent to which the group can be helped to the fullest realization of its potentialities. Next is the principle of continuous individualization. In social group work, it is recognized that groups are different and individuals utilize group experiences in a variety of ways to meet their different needs. Consequently, continuous individualization must be practiced by the worker. Groups and the individuals in the groups must be understood as developing and changing. When the group worker individualizes a group, he accepts the naturalness of difference. When sees groups are ever changing and developing at different rates of speeds, he eliminates arbitrary expectation as to response and accepts the importance of flexibility in his work with the group. So, the group worker may ask, where is the group? How its members changed? What is likely to emerge in the future? What is group trying to become? What does this imply for me as a helping person? Planning for the group is replaced by a process of planning with the group. Next principle, principle of guided group interaction. In social group work, the primary purpose of energy which propels the group and influences the individual to change is the interaction or reciprocal responses of the members. The group worker influences this interaction by the type and quality of his participation. When people are together in groups, the possibility of interaction or interstimulation is always present, though reciprocal responses may be released by different mechanisms and may be of lower or higher degree of intensity and continuity. The fact remains that this influence of person on person is a major dynamic in social group work. The social group work process implies a harnessing, direction and conscious utilization of natural social process of interaction. The presence of a worker whose role is to influence actively the type and degree of interaction converts the social process into the social group process. Now, we are going to see principle of democratic group self-determination. In social group work, the group member must be helped to make its own decision and determine its own activities, taking the maximum amount of responsibility in line with its capacity and ability. The primary source of control over the group is the group itself. Principle of flexible functional organization. In social group work, the process through which the worker guides a group in setting up formal organization is just as important as the actual structural details of that organization. Formal organization should be flexible and should be encouraged only as it meets a felt need. It understood by the member and can function accordingly. The formal organization of the group should be adaptive and should change as the group changes. Principle of progressive program experiences. In this principle, the group worker should understand how an individual is progressing through the group process. In social group work, the program experiences in which the groups engage should begin at the level of member interest, need, experience and competence and should progress in relation to the developing capacity of the group. This principle implies that there is a starting point for group work program and that definition of that starting point is important. The differences between groups with respect to interest, needs and abilities are especially pertinent in the program development process. Programs which might seem incidental, even superficial to an outsider are often quite real and meaningful to the group. Principle of resource utilization. In group work, the total environment of agency and community possesses resources which should be utilized to enrich the content of the group experience for individuals and for the group as a whole. Next principle, principle of evaluation. In the social group work, continuous evaluation of process and program in terms of continuous outcomes is essential. Worker, group and agency share in this procedure as a means of guaranteeing the greatest possible self-fulfillment for all. For students' better understanding of principles written by Konopka, individualization in the group, 2. Individualization of the groups, 3. Acceptance of members, 4. Relationship between worker and group members, 5. Developing cooperative relationship between group members, 6. Modifying the group process, 7. Encouraging participation on the part of members, 8. Enabling members to participate in problem solving, 9. Satisfactory resolution of conflicts, 10. Providing new experiences in groups of relationships, 11. Diagnostic assessment of members, 12. Purposeful use of program. 13. Ongoing evaluation. 14. Disciplined use of self by group worker. Tossell and Rivers, however, used different approach in identifying principles of group work. They identified the following elements or components of group which they felt will be providing a foundation for good understanding of group dynamics. They evolved principles of practice under each separately, communication and interaction patterns. The principles discussed under this category are: first, members of group are always communicating. Members who communicate often have a purpose for communicating beyond merely conveying information. Third, there is a meaning in all communications. 4. Messages are often perceived selectively by the receiver. 5. Messages may be distorted in transmission. 6. Feedback provides a means for communications to be understood effectively. 7. Open and group centered communications are often but not always the preferred pattern communication. 8. Interaction pattern can be changed by reinforcing desired interaction patterns, by increasing or decreasing emotional bonds between members, by changing group size or group structure, and by alerting the power or the status relationship in a group. Group cohesion. Principles of practice relating to cohesion suggest: open interaction promotes cohesiveness. 2. Achievement of group goals makes the group more attractive for members. Third, non-competitive intra-group relationships, supporting members, perception and point of views promotes cohesion. 4. Competitive intergroup relationships help to define group identity and purpose. 5. A manageable size of group help in promoting cohesion. 6. Need fulfillment of members help in promoting cohesion. 7. Understanding and addressing expectations of members help to promote cohesion. 8. Rewards, resources, status or prestige not available to members outside the group increase the prestige of the group. Social control. The principles of practice of social control suggest that a social control helps in stabilizing the group processes. 1. Group structure helps in maintaining social control. 2. Overemphasizing the structure can strangulate the members' participation and may prove counterproductive. 3rd, members should follow social control dynamics that are helpful in promoting cohesion. 4. Members would observe social control norms if group goals are attractive and meaningful. 5. Social control would work if the members continue to value their membership. 6. Rewards and sanctions are helpful in maintaining social control. Group culture. The principles of group culture suggest that 1. Group culture emerges through an intermixing of values. 2. The value of agency, community and society at large also influence the group culture. 3. Individual members and workers stereotypes can conflict with group culture. 4. Value conflicts can affect cohesion in the group. 5. Group culture can influence members' values. 6. Group culture supporting members' socio-emotional needs stabilizes the group. Summary. Now we understood different theories of different authors, and then they mentioned about principles should be followed in social group work. Here we follow the steps which are more conducive for the group worker and also practicable in the agency. Here we should be careful that a group should be beneficial, and where a social group worker enables them to learn individually and as a group through their communication, interaction and experiences, and continuously evaluating will help the group worker to learn how to practice in next sessions and how better they can practice in the further group work process. Model questions. 1. What do you understand by principle of group work? 2. What is the meaning of principle of democratic group self-determination? Third, what is continuous evaluation? References: Konopka G. Social Group Work, A Helping Process, Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, Prentice Hall, Incorporation, 1963. Tosland R.W. and Rivers, R.F., An Introduction to Group Work Practice, Boston, Allen and Bacon, in 2001. Trecker H. Social Group Work, Principles and Practices, New York, Association Press, 1972. Siddiqui H.Y. Group Work Theories and Practices, Jaipur, Rawat Publications, 2008.